Rochdale 13 now in Kilshaw, real tough day at the office today, gone down 40 points to 12 against York. Just wondered what your general thoughts on the game was.
Yeah, look, we're very disappointed with the performance, and first of all, I'd like to apologise to the supporters who travelled and paid the money to watch that today, because they deserve better than that. They deserved a better effort. We didn't do many of the things that we practiced, and we were off in defence. We lost that energy early on, and we couldn't wrestle it back. And we come against a side who were really hungry, and they ran harder than us and they tackled harder than us, and we knew we had to be up for it. And some of us went missing today, and it's disappointing. But it's not the end of the world. There's still a long way to go. We're still in a healthy position, and I'm sure we'll play York again before the end of the year and the other top teams, and we know we've got to get a better performance than the one we delivered today.
And York went into the game, third game in a week. It looked like it was our third game in a week in patches, really poor, really soft all the way through. Can you make excuses, or was it just a generally bad day at the office?
Oh, look, you get games like that. York themselves went up to Barrow and got beat by 50. Sometimes, especially with the heat as well, when you're defending that much, the score lines will go up. Look, you could say we went in a little bit undercooked. We've had two sort of one-sided games, and we've had that weekend off. We're not going to make an excuse of that. We didn't buy into the fact it was their third game in a week. But Wednesday night was nothing more than a training run for them, and they managed to rotate players, and we knew they'd be up for the game, and I bought into that. The start was a little bit disruptive. We were ready at 3 o'clock, and then we were told it was 3:10, and that was a little bit disappointing. There wasn't a doctor here and little things like that, and you expect a lot more from a semi-professional environment. And the York's coaching staff had the same thoughts on it, and those little things need to be tidied up. But again, we won't make an excuse of that. We didn't deliver the performance that we should have done. That was warranted from our preparation this week.
And James Ford was very, very critical of the referee after the Coventry game on Wednesday night. Do you think the officials have picked up on stuff that's been said and wised up, or it certainly seemed that way at points today?
Yeah, look, I thought a lot of 50-50s went against us. It's always tough coming here with the crowd on the back. Well, I'm not a coach to go out and speak so openly and publicly and bag the rest in public, but it looks like that's happened on Wednesday night, and it seems to have worked today. Very disappointed with the calls. The ruck, it looked like it was WrestleMania at times. We're trying to get a quick ruck, and they were going back on and pushing it, and we go 1 week to the next, and it's a different ruck, and we want to play fast, and we weren't allowed to do that today. But look, fair credit to York, they played within the rules that were given on the day, and they used them to their advantage, and we've got to be a lot smarter than that. We're too nice at times, and we try and play, I think, to the rules too much, and maybe we need to be a lot more smart around the ruck, because today we didn't get many fast played balls. There was a lot of things going on at the ruck, and then when we had the ball, we were trying to be good technically, and we didn't serve what we should have done, what was given to us at the play of the ball, and it did have a knock-on effect on the game.
And where do you go from here? The lads will be hurting. I think they need to go away and have a long hard look at themselves, some of them. What's the week going to be like coming up?
Look, it's not ideal that we've got another weekend off. We'll have a big week. We'll come in 3 times next week, and we'll get ready for Newcastle. There's some bodies to come back and freshen us up. Jordan Case, Joe Tyara, Dave Cookson, a couple more lads played for Warrington Reserves today. So we'll see where we're at. We're also looking at bringing in a loan signing as well, if we can get that across the line, just to freshen the group up. Look, it's our first defeat. It's an away defeat. It's the first one in the league. We're not at panic stations. We've got a long way to go. We're still sat in a nice position coming up to the Super 8. After this week off, we've got four tough games: Newcastle and Hemel away, and then we finish with Keighley and Doncaster at home. Take them one by one. We can still be in a real good position come the Super 8. We're in that top 2, and if we can stay in there, leading into that. There won't be. We're not at panic stations yet. What we've got to do is come and play a lot better than that today. We got bullied. Some of those lads. I don't think they'll be able to look themselves in the mirror after the game, because they let themselves down today, and they let the town of Rochdale down with their performance, and that's the most disappointing thing at the end of the day.